Hello students, welcome to another video of number theory. Today we are going to discuss some theorems. First theorem is the number of primes is infinite, that is the set of prime numbers is infinite, that is there is no end to the sequence of primes. The motive behind to prove this theorem is, if we consider the first 100 integers, first 100 positive integers, that is the integers from 0 to 100, in between these 100 integers there are 25 prime numbers. There are 25 prime numbers. In between first, suppose 0 to 100 integers, there are 25 prime numbers. After from this 101 to 200, from 101 to 200, that is the in between these 100 integers there are 21 primes. After that, if we consider the next 100 integer, that is 201 to 300, there are 16 prime numbers. As we are going forward, the number of prime integers in between the 100 integers is becoming less, that is there the sequence of prime numbers is decreasing as we are moving forward. That is, if we going further, the integers, sorry, the prime numbers, the sequence of prime numbers is decreasing sequence. So for the larger values, if you consider for the larger values, the prime numbers in between 100, suppose for 10,000 to 10,001, sorry, 10,100, there may or may not be a single prime. So if we going then again larger, the primes are becoming less. So the thought behind is, are the primes stops, or the sequence of prime number stops somewhere. To this theorem, from this theorem it is clear that the sequence of prime number has no ending, that is the sequence of prime number has no end. To prove this result, suppose this proof, we are going to prove this by contradiction. Proof of this theorem, proof is by contradiction. Proof by contradiction. Proof by contradiction. That is, suppose there are finite number of primes. Suppose there are finite number of primes. Finite number of, suppose there are finite number of primes. Suppose there are, suppose k primes, we say that p1, p2 up to, say the primes are p1, p2 up to pk. Suppose there are k are the finite primes. So now we are going to construct a number and construct the number. Therefore, construct the number n, capital small n is equals to 1 plus p1 into p2 up to pk, p1 p2 up to pk. Now suppose if this, we from the previous corollary we have any, from the previous theorem, that the theorem was unique factorization theorem. Unique factorization theorem says that any integer greater than 1, this multiplication of prime plus 1 is always greater than 1. So using that theorem, any integer greater than 1 can be expressed as product of primes. We can say that there are the prime factors of n. So suppose if this p1 divides n, this p1 divides n, then by definition of divisibility we can write p1 into r is equals to, suppose n, p1 into r is equals to n, this r belongs to z, and this is from by definition of divisibility, by definition of divisibility, by using the definition of divisibility. So if p1 into r is equals to n, so we can put the value of n here and we get p1 r is equals to 1 plus p1 into p2 up to pk. So rearranging this, we get p1 into r minus this multiplication, p1 r minus p1 p2 up to pk is equals to 1. So this gives us p1 into this, taking p1 common, r minus p2 into p3 up to pk is equals to 1. This gives us this p1 into some k, suppose k prime, p1 into k prime is equals to 1, where k prime is equals to this integer, where k prime is equals to r minus p2 into p3 up to pk. Therefore, now using definition of divisibility here, we can say that this p1 divides n. This gives p1 divides 1. This p1 divides 1. This is from using definition of divisibility, by definition of divisibility. By definition of divisibility. But this is not possible since p1 is prime and any prime does not divide 1, which is not possible since this p1 is prime, which is contradiction since p1 is prime, if p1 is, since p1 is prime. Now, if we take this, if this p2 divides n, this p2 divides n, then again we will get p2 into r, suppose r2 is equals to this integer, and taking p2 common, we get p2 divides n. Repeating this procedure for k times, we can find that pk divides n. So, we get contradiction in each case, and after that we can say that p1 does not divide 1, sorry, p1 does not divide n, p2 does not divide n up to pk, all these primes does not divide n. So, there must be another prime, suppose we are going to say that as pk plus 1, which divides n. So, adding this prime to this list and continuing our list, we can say that there is, in each case there is another prime. So, that is there is no end to the sequence of primes. This contradiction p1 is prime, this gives us p1 does not divide n. If we consider p1 divides n, then we get some contradiction. This gives us p1 does not divide n. Similarly, we can prove that. P2 does not divide n, P3 does not divide n, up to Pk does not divide n. P1, similarly we can prove that, we have already proved that P2 does not divide P1, sorry, P2, P3 up to Pk cannot divide n. Similarly, we can prove that this P2, P3 up to Pk cannot divide n. Hence, any prime divisor of n must be distinct from this p1, p2 up to pk. Hence, any prime divisor of n is a prime distinct from this p1, p2 up to pk. So, p1, p2, pk, since our n, that n is equals to the number we have constructed, n is equals to 1 to up to pk. If this prime is either if this number n, this number is either prime or composite, or this gives us, if this number n is itself prime, then we get the n itself prime, which is different from these p1, p2, pk. If n is not prime, that is if n is composite, then n must have a common factor. This is because of the previous theorem, that is unique factorization theorem. That unique factorization theorem says that any integer n greater than 1 can be written in the product of primes, but this p1, p2 up to pk are not the divisors, that is p1, p2, pk. We cannot express n as the multiplication of p1, p2, pk. Therefore, next line, since n is either a prime, if n is either prime or this n has prime factor, or n has prime factor, if n has prime factor, this gives we have proved that this p1, p2 up to pk cannot divide n, and n has prime factor. So this gives there is a distinct prime. There is a distinct prime, suppose q or pk plus 1, which divides n. This implies there is a prime, distinct from, p1, p2 up to pk. Now adding this prime to our list, that is adding that prime, suppose that prime is pk plus 1. So we will get p1, p2 up to pk plus 1 is the new list of primes, that is our finite primes. So again constructing the another number which is n is equal, suppose 1 plus p1 into p2 up to pk into pk plus 1, constructing this number and then proving this again similar way. We can say that this p1 p2 up to pk plus 1 not going to divide, suppose n1, then there is another prime which divides n1. So adding that prime to our list and continuing this procedure is infinite, thus there is no end to the sequence of prime. From this step we have proved, we are doing this proof by contradiction. On contrary, we have supposed that there are finite number of primes p1 p2 up to pk. Now constructing the number n is equals to 1 plus multiplication of this prime, that is n is equals to 1 plus p1 into p2 up to pk. This number is definitely greater than 1, since this is the product of primes, and again adding 1 we get this. So if we know that any integer greater than 1 can be expressed as product of primes. If this n is itself prime, then we get in the previous proof we have proved that if this number is itself prime, then we get n as product of primes. If n is a composite number, then there must be prime factors of n. If we have considered that p1, p2 up to pk is these are the only finite number of primes. So if we can express n as product of, we have to express this composite number. If we consider this number as composite number, if we are going to factorize this number into product of primes, there must be these prime, because there are only pk primes. If we find another prime distinct from these k primes, then we are going to add that prime into this list. So in the first list we are get, suppose pk plus 1. So our new list becomes p1 p2 up to pk plus 1. Again constructing the another number, suppose n1 is equals to 1 plus p2 pk up to pk plus 1. Another similar way doing this procedure we get another prime, and continuing this procedure we get the sequence of prime as infinite. So since up to this we have seen that there is a prime distinct from p1 p2 up to pk, adding this prime to our list, adding this prime to our list, adding this prime to our list, or this above list, or adding this prime to above list, and continue the above process. And continuing the above process, we get new prime each time. Continue the above process, which gives new prime, at every time. So we can continue this process infinitely many times. Next step, we can continue this process infinitely many times. Hence the proof. The statement of our theorem is the number of primes is infinite, and we have proved this statement by using contradiction. On contrary, we have supposed there are only finite primes p1, p2 up to pk, and after that we have constructed the number n as n is equals to 1 plus p1 into p2 up to pk, and which the number n is greater than 1. So, from this we can say that the number n can be written as product of primes by unique factorization theorem. Unique factorization theorem says that any integer n greater than 1 can be expressed as product of primes, and this expression is unique apart from the order in which the factor occurs. If this p1 divides n, since this n is either prime or composite, if n is composite, then we can express n as product of primes. So, if this p1 is product of this n, that is p1 divides n, then we get p1 divides 1, that is a prime number divides n, which is contradiction. Similarly, we can prove that p2 does not divide n, p3 does not divide n, and pk up to pk does not divide n, that is there is a prime factor of n different from these k primes, that is p1, p2 up to pk different from p1, p2 up to pk. So, adding that prime, saying that prime, suppose pk plus 1, and adding that prime to this list, we get new list of primes, that is p1, p2 up to pk, comma pk plus 1. So, we get k plus 1 primes. Another time we are going to construct the another number, suppose constructing the number n1 as 1 plus p1 into p2 up to pk into pk plus 1, and repeating this procedure, that is we can say that p1 does not divide n1, p2 does not divide n2 up to pk plus 1 does not divide n1. So, in that case we get the another prime, suppose pk plus 2, and continuing this procedure, we can continue this procedure infinitely many times, and therefore we can say that there is no end to the sequence of primes, or the number of primes is infinite, hence the theorem.